Hello, everyone. Hello, Nandakumar. Good morning.
Hi, hi, Arman. Good morning.
Hello, hi, good morning. So we'll just wait a couple of more minutes and then we'll start the session.
Okay. Yeah. Mohit is coming in 2 minutes.
Okay, sure.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello, good morning.
Very low attendance today.
Yeah, I believe it's a winter. Oh, so only three. Okay. So today we'll go and we'll do some exercise for SQL injections. So before we start, let's say what is SQL injection and its types. So SQL injection is basically it's a web application vulnerability where an attacker manipulates the SQL queries by injecting malicious SQL code. So wherever we see whether they can try to inject the malicious code in the URL bar or any controls, let's say search, blog, username, and password. So these are the area where attacker can try to inject some malicious SQL code. These are the input field from the users. So let's say if any values are coming directly from the database where we have seen some select options, right? So there also attacker can perform those attacks, but the basic requirement and remediation is they should have the input validation in place. So if you don't have those things in place, then attacker can basically, if they successfully inject or apply the SQL code, so they can read, modify, or delete the data bypassing with the help of bypassing the authentication, or even sometimes some cases they can get the full control of the database. So if it is getting successfully happen, then a successful SQL injection attack can have the severe consequences, including the unauthorized access to sensitive data such as personal information and financial record. Attacker can manipulate or delete the critical data, compromising its integrity. So they can also bypass the authentication mechanism, gaining the unauthorized access to user account, including administrative privilege, and they can also lead to exposure of the confidential information like identity theft and some financial losses. So if it attack is successfully happen, it can also service downtime with the help of blind SQL injections. In the blind SQL injection, we have one function that will be used and we can make the database in the sleep mode. That is, we will go through it. And also that can damage to the organization reputations. So if we talk about the SQL injections type, so there are three types of the SQL injections. The first one is the classic or in-band, or we call as a first order SQL injection. It is very simple or very in general SQL injections. Here, basically, it works on the error-based SQL injections. So it is working basically, let's say if you put any malicious character. So what are the malicious character? We know it. Single quotes, double quotes, forward slash, backward slash. So these are the malicious character. If you enter it in the URL bar by the end of the URL message, or you have some blocks controls or username and password, right? So where if you just put those character and you can see what responses you are getting it. So let's say if you are getting any response in form of, let's say, any SQL queries or any SQL syntax error, so attacker can get to know that this application is vulnerable with the SQL injection. Now they will start to play around with hit and try method, right? So they will, let's say if they want to get to know or they want to check how many columns are there, then they will be using order by command, right? So in the order by command, they will be just putting order by, and let's say any name, let's say apple, right? With the help of single quotes. So if this query is executed successfully, it will give you in the fruit tables apple is there or not, right? If they get to know that apple is not there, or they are getting any let's say any SQL syntax error, then they will just try to get to know. Then they will create a payload like this: 1 comma 2 comma 3. So it basically help them to know about the column name, how many columns are there. So SQL injection is all about your hit and trial method. How is intelligently you are using the SQL command, right? So an attacker can just take forward with the help of the SQL statement in the error base. So error based SQL injection is an in-band SQL injection where attacker, they are using the same channel to perform the attack and get the results. So that rely on the error message that thrown by the database server to obtain the information about the structure and the database. In some cases, error-based SQL injection is alone enough for the attacker to enumerate an entire database. While error are very useful during the development phase of our application, so that is why we recommend the development teams do not provide the in detail. Just use the customized error notification. Let's say if you are entering any character and if it is not there in the database, so they can just send a message or on the screen, values not found or something like that. Union base is basically where we try to combine two select statement. So it's a in-band SQL injection, and here we basically combine two select statement and we'll get the result into a single results. But in this case, the requirement is basically the data type should be the same. Let's say if you have any let's say a different type, let's say one is your username data type, so it's a data type should be a string, right? And another one is a mobile number, so mobile number is a numeric values. So in that case, we cannot run the use the union statement. So let's say if you have the first name and last name, email address, so these are the string values. So here we can use the union statement, which help us to get multiple or two or more select statement commands into a single results. Inferential second order injection. Second order is basically it's a getting stored in the database, and the next time if you are loading that application or page, then those query will be getting executed. So basically Boolean base, it's a very compared to the first order, it's a tough one because here you are not getting any response from the database. It will be completely a blank page. So let's say blind Boolean SQL base, it's a working on the condition. Condition is what? Let's say condition is 1 equal to 1, which is always a true. So you will get some results. But in this case, let's say if you're using the 1 equal to 2, which is always a false, so again, you will be getting some values. So this is something how they have designed their database. Whether it will be giving you the results when the condition is true only or in false, so you will not be get any results. It is completely depend on how they are designing it. Right? So inferential, unlike SQL injection, may take a longer for an attacker to exploit. However, it is just as dangerous any other SQL injections. In an inferential SQL injection data attack, no data is actually transferred via web application, and the attacker would not be able to see the results of an attack in band. Time-based delay, it is basically it's all about when the conditions are met, and we will be using the sleep function. which can basically make sleep the database. So let's say if you are hitting the URL, you are getting the immediate response, right? So if you are putting your query something like that, 1 = 1, which is always a true, and use the sleep function where you can just put the parameter like 1 second or 3 second or whatever. So it will basically sleep for the 3 second, whatever the values you are putting it, and it will basically just to getting a delayed from the database response, right? So now let's just do the exercise. So we'll get to know more about it. So before we start, let's just understand the sequence uh, statement structure, how it works. So it works like select star from database users database where username equal to mo or admin and password equal to password or 123, whatever values you are putting it. So this is the structure which basically help you to, let's say if you have the login page, so you have enter admin and admin. When it is matching, it will give you the some results, or it will take you to in the application. So in that case, how the attacker tried to inject their SQL malicious code, single quotes or 1 = 1. Okay, so they will be putting over here like this. So let's say this is our query, and if they are putting this command, so basically this command with this character, it basically break the SQL query. So from here the query will be executing, but if the database is getting this character single quotes, then the query has been breakdown. And here if you just mention your attack payload, let's say 1 = 1, right? So in that case, so database will check the admin and then or 1 = 1, which is always a true. And in order to not execute the rest part of the SQL query or database command, you can use the double hyphen, because it will basically treat the rest of the query as a statement. So this will not execute till here. The query will be executed, and because the 1 = 1 is a true, then you will be getting some results. So either you can put the double slash, or you can use the hash function, hash character, just to treat rest of the query as a statement, right? So any question, guys, till now? So if you put this one like this query, so how the query will be look like? So it will select star from user where username equal to admin. Okay, and
Not equals to, it's a hyphen. You have given hyphen.
sorry.
You have
Oh,
put
okay.
a
Yeah. Sorry.
Username.
Sorry. Okay. 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 Yeah. Username equal to admin and password. So here, let's say if you are providing this query or single quotes 1, sorry, 1 equal to 1. So that is, you will be getting, I mean, so 1 equal to 1 in the password is always a true. So it will be getting execute, right?
So this will be, you are going to put this one in the URL or somewhere else where
Anything where you have find that SQL injection is there. In order to check, whether your controls is vulnerable with SQL injection or not, so you can just put this character, single
no, no,
character.
Arman, what I'm trying to say,
Mm-hmm,
like if I'm getting any URL for a website,
mm-hmm.
so at the end of the URL, we need to put this
Yes,
state.
yes, correct. Okay.
But Arman, I mean, yeah, so this we need to attach it with the URL is what you are saying, right?
Mm-hmm,
Okay, so hope so let you so you are aware in Azure we have something like service endpoints, right? So
mm-hmm.
that is secure way to
Yeah,
access.
yeah.
So in that way, we can give permission to access exclusively that particular. Let's say if it's a SQL or a storage or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm,
So by that means, if we are just creating a secure endpoint, right? That provision is there in Azure. You also know it. In
mm-hmm.
that case, then we cannot do these kind of attacks, right?
No, no, correct.
Okay, so this is just for an open-ended URL where we don't have a secure service endpoint, right?
Yes. And also in the data, so basically in the database query, or when you are, let's say, select a star, this is the statement. Let's say in the backend, if you are writing your database query, but you have to have the some input sanitization in place, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it is,
Okay.
let's say you have your database in Azure, right? So in the Azure, if you have created your SQL database, but still if it is getting the values from the cloud, right? It is there. The security, some security things are there, but it's still, you have to have the input validation or sanitization in place, where it can be done from the coding, or else it can be done through a third party libraries like HTML sanitizer, and other libraries are there
Okay.
which
Okay.
can which can do the sanitization job from your end.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Right.
So,
What
Arman,
is
yeah,
yes?
Mohit.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Neeraj.
Arman,
Mm-hmm,
so such a statement, it is going to work if the backend database is either SQL, MySQL, or Oracle, right?
mm-hmm,
Or or traditional database, right?
mm-hmm.
But this is not going to work in case of the backend database is, I think, PostgreSQL or MongoDB, which doesn't support the
Yeah,
security.
because
Correct. Because
we
see,
have not established the connectivity parameters, right? So we are just doing one brute force based on URL.
No, 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 Ananda Kumar. What I'm trying to say, such statements only works with the traditional databases like Oracle or SQL, MySQL, Informix, right? But
Correct,
in
but even then we have not established the connectivity. Probably, I think Arman will show it how it is done. But my doubt here is like, yeah, this is a SQL query where we need to tag it along with the URL to make an attack. But we don't see how the connectivity is established, right? So because we don't see the database connectivity parameters and other things established. That was my, yeah. To your question, Neeraj, we need to have those connection parameters established with credentials. Then, yeah, the credential is there, but the connectivity parameters, like what is the host name of that particular database, what's the yeah, so other things like the connectivity parameters we need to define, and post that probably the
no,
SQL
no, no,
should
no,
work.
no, Nanda Kumar, Nanda Kumar. See, as earlier we discussed that such a statement we need to put with at the end of the website URL. So, if any URL which or web service which is connected with the database, the connectivity from the application to database, it will be automatically established by the application, right?
Okay, okay. No,
You
is
no need
it
to define
okay,
any
okay,
connectivity parameter here, because application is
okay,
itself having the parameters which will connect and run this URL, run the URL including this statement. What I am
okay,
thinking,
okay.
but Arman will clarify on this.
Yeah, yeah, that's what, yeah, yeah, correct, correct. So basically, we are modifying the endpoint URL here, API endpoint URL. Is that right, Arman?
S- kind of, kind of,
Okay,
right.
okay.
See, so what, your good name is Nandan.
Nandakumar.
Nanda,
Nandan, yeah,
Nanda Kumar.
Nanda Kumar. So Neeraj is saying about the MongoDB or
PostgreSQL.
Post, yeah. So they are also vulnerable with the SQL injection, but we call as a no SQL injection,
Right, right,
right?
right.
So in the no SQL injection is here is something that we are using this command single character, sorry, or statement, right? These statement. But when you are talking about the any no SQL database, so in that case, the attacker will be using these characters to inject their query, let's say NE or hyphen uh, with dollar sign.
Means
So
there is different payload
yes,
syntax.
yes, yes, yes. So here is they are using the dollar sign. So let's say I'm just giving you the example, let's say, and here is basically it's happening all because of the JSON queries, because the user input is directly inserted into the JSON queries, right?
Right,
So
right.
right. So how it will look like? So let's say I'm just giving you the structure of JSON libraries.
It's going to be key value pair,
Yes,
yeah, with nested
yes,
objects. Yeah.
yes, yes. So here, let's say we have this username. Probably the syntax will be here and there, but the structure is pretty much similar. So let's say if they do not have the any input validation in place, then this operator they use any it could be any values, and value is null, right? And then they can mention about the password, uh, dollar null or any values, right? So if there is no user input validation in place, so these are the operator that attacker can use. This is the user controllable operator. So with the help of these operator, attacker can try to inject the values, or they can prepare their NoSQL database injection attack payload. So let's say if I'm just showing you SQL injection payload GitHub list. Oh, sorry, SQL injection. So here I believe you will get NoSQL statement, how you can create it.
No SQL map there.
Yeah, SQL map. Yeah, SQL map basically help you to check where I will do the exercise. So these are the command. This is something that we use a generic SQL injection payload. So it start with single quotes, double quotes, right? These are the statement. Order by union. Now let me just see generic time-based delayed SQL injection. If we have, okay. So this is basically you have all this list here is for SQL injection.
Can you share this link?
Yeah, 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 I have put it. Let's say NoSQL injection attack payload. No SQL injections. Yeah. So they have some different structure. See, yeah, this one operator not equal regex for regular expression greater than slower than, and their attack payloads looks like a different how they can bypass it. HTTP data look username, so they will try to inject it like if the username is Toto and the password is Toto or A or right, so something like that. So here is something that we are putting username equal to right, select star from username is equal to Toto and password equal to Toto, but here they are using the dollar sign with this user controllable operator. So that is how they create this query in the JSON
Is that
data.
is this I mean this statement where we have the username, right? So it's
Mhm.
saying it's not equal to 22, isn't it?
No, 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 no. It's a dollar sign, and this is there. It was there already. Let me see. So
It's a not
yeah,
equal.
sorry.
Name is
Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
equal to.
Yeah, it's
Name
not
is not
equal
equal
to.
to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, sorry.
GP greater than, yeah.
Yeah,
So it is just trying to say that wherever user is not equal to this or password not equal to this, then they're trying to
yeah. So this is
probably
your
get
JSON
some.
data query. It will looks like not equal to null. Password is null. So if they here you can see not equal to foo and password is bar. So that is how they create this NoSQL database or so NoSQL injection attack
Mm,
payload. Let me
right.
see.
Nandakumar, you are saying for Azure, what you are
Yeah,
referring
so you
to?
have service endpoints in Azure. So let's say if you are creating one new container or one new Azure SQL instance, we in that
Okay.
networking option we will have one particular option to allow everybody or only selected access. So if
Mm-hmm.
we just choose selected access, then only only the selected subnet and VNet and IP will able to access that particular instance of whatever Azure SQL or container or storage or whatever it is. And by
Right.
that means, it will be making it secure. So basically, we are talking about modifying the URLs, right? So from
Mm.
so just wanted to know whether. If we are just having those secure endpoints created, then this vulnerability can be avoided. That's what I just
No,
wanted.
I don't think that it is related because
Okay.
the network level security or the subnets which we are allowing right within the Azure, right?
Okay.
So between the application server and your database, right? So that's a different thing because we are just saying that okay, the application server should be able to communicate to this particular database which is in this particular subnet, right? And we are allowing a specific ports, right, as well. So that
Correct.
is
Correct.
that is only between the application for the communication between the application servers and the database, right?
Okay. Got it.
Here,
Got it. Okay.
here
Okay.
we are talking about, first of all, here we are talking about the front end, right? Now we have got a application web URL, and through that actually we are trying to. If application does not return, with this input validation code, right? Then this will be a vulnerability, irrespective how many,
Yeah. Irrespective of
networking
the channels.
control.
Got it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got it. Got it. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is for the application that is globally accessible for anyone.
Hmm.
Yes,
Right?
the
Okay.
web
Okay.
URL, which is a public, web
Accessible.
URL, which we can access over internet, right? Anyone can access over internet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
But particularly, I think which needs a user ID and password.
Got it. Yeah. So yeah, I got the point because that service endpoint really speaks about the channelization, and here what we
Mm,
are checking with respect to the even in the existing channel, these things can be performed. I got it. Yeah.
yeah. One rule is cloud is not secure. I mean we should not consider that if you're moving the applications to cloud that it is secure. No, it's not. It is as similar as we have on prem, right?
No,
But it depends
basically,
on the controls.
okay, so my idea of SQL injection was basically something different. What I thought was like, say, let's say we have a database, and my before start of the session, my idea of SQL injection was like, just like how we just hacked using the Metasploit and access the ports, right? So I thought like SQL injection might be like giving some corrupt update commands with data to add the different kind of data to confuse the system is what was my understanding. So since Arman mentioned its URL, I just thought
No,
like
objective
if
is same.
Yeah.
okay,
Objective
okay.
is still same. That is what we are trying to do here, right? But the
See, and
yeah,
sorry. So
go ahead.
actually, this is not only about the URL. So you can apply those attack payload in the URL, as well as if you have any controls, let's say username and password. So you can apply those values in those controls also. So let's just have these things. Let me
So
paste.
there could be like if like we have cracked any username and password with earlier techniques, right?
Mm,
And then we got access to the application right through that, and then we can inject some other payload with that username and password, and if that user has access to more tables and or sensitive tables, right, where we have pi data and all, then we
correct.
can get that information through this.
Yes, yes. So let's say we have here this users. Let's just click on it here. Retail. Okay, this is something document. Okay, so let's say you have here ID, right? So if you can just put, let's say, your SQL injections, right? Parameter. This is the very basics parameter. Okay, so single quotes, and just to make sure that rest of the query will be treated as a statement, right? So will it work? No. So it is giving you this, right? But you can perform this activities from here also. So let's say whatever the values you are putting it, if it is directly reflecting over here, so it means that they are using a get method. Here you can see some from group ID equal to something, right? So you can just remove it, this ID value, and it you can just change it to one or some numeric values. Let's say I'll just removing it. Just put one. Let's see what will happen. So it is giving you the normal error page, right? So here, so either you have seen some ID equal to some values, you can apply same command, same SQL injection command over here, or else you can also apply those things in the uh, whatever the controls or options you have, right, in the form or blog or something like that. Now let's and how it your this where was it? SQL injections. Yeah. So here if you can see, this is the greater than, lower than, and not in. So let's say this is the example. If the application is using the Mongo or any NoSQL database, let's say db.product find price user input, right? So what are the price user it is something in user controllable values, right? So there is no as such validation in place, right? So if you attacker just try to put this query price and zero greater than zero, they will use this operator greater than 0. So it will basically give you all the products which price value is greater than 0. So it will return all the product with price. So that is how the new NoSQL injections attack payload they can create, and these is basically a syntax which is a quite different from our regular uh, SQL injections command. Why these character? Because it's a JSON based queries operator in the NoSQL. So I'll be just putting this. You can also just have, and so it will help you. So now let's go here. Okay. So yeah. So you can see the SQL injection, get select, get search, right? Post select and post search. So whatever the queries you are using for get, it will work for the select, search, and post. So that's just for a post method. Just make sure whatever the values you are putting it here, it will not reflect you. You will get a blank in the URL. So let me just show you one of the example. The query, whatever we are going to use, it will be same Iron Man. Okay. So no movies found. You can see the Iron Man values are, it is reflecting here only. So it means that it using a get method and there is no URL encoding in place. So that is why you are getting the plain text, what you have put in over here. But if you just go here and look for this post search. So if I like Iron Man, you'll see no values are here, right? So that is the difference if you're using post or the select method. Now let's just go here and okay. So this is your control and you want to check whether your application or this one is a vulnerable with the SQL injection or not. So how we can start? We can just firstly put single quotes, double quotes, forward slash, backward slash. So now let's just enter single quotes. So it is giving you have an error, the SQL syntax. So it is not giving you the complete in detail, but yes, just a syntax error that it says that you have the SQL injections vulnerability in place. Now we have to search for the movie name. Okay. So now let's just search and how it is working. Let's say if you are putting this is Spider-Man, let's say Spider-Man. So it is says no movies found. So how it is working? The query, it's basically in the backend, if it is running like this, select star from movies table where title equal to Spider-Man, right? And let's say now, so your database will be understand this query, and if the title is matching and Spider-Man is there in the database, it will give you the detail about the Spider-Man movies, right? Whatever the values they want to reflect on the portal. Now, if you're putting the single codes, so the database basically cannot read this query completely. It will execute it, but after that, if it is finding this value, so your query will be breakdown and you are getting the SQL syntax error. So that is why it is recommended to use the customize error notification. So let's say if I just, as I have put over here, Spider-Man single quotes. So it is giving you the same some syntax error, right? And here you can see in the URL, you have put the Spider-Man single quote, it is reflecting. Now, we will be trying. So now we'll get to know that this application is vulnerable with SQL injection. So our first motto would be to check how many columns are there, right? So how we can get it? So let's just use order by command. 1 comma 2, let's say if it is having 2 comma or what. So now let's just rest of the query will be treating as a comment. Now let's just hit the enter. No movies found. Okay. Let's just try with comma 3, comma 4, comma 5. Okay. So we are here, we are not getting any error, right? So it means it is having a 5 column. Now let's say how many columns are there? Comma 6.
It's already showing the column, na, Arman, title, release,
No, no,
character.
no, no, no. You will get to know. Just wait, just wait.
Okay, okay.
7, comma 8. Let's say. So here he is getting the unknown column 8 in order clause. So it means that this database is having a in this movies we have how many columns? Probably 7, right? So now we'll use. So basically here you can see how many columns: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns only. But I mean, apart of these 5, there are 2 more columns are there. That is what we get to know from here, right? So now let's say we'll use the select statement where we try to get, we'll use the union command, right? So let's just use, or just replace the order by with union. Union select space. Let's just say. So here you can see that the title column name is 2, release column name is 3, character column name is 5, genre column name is 4, right? That is what we get it from here in this query. Now let's just copy this query. Or else, so we'll be just modifying. Okay, so GitHub one. Okay. So now we'll try to print the database, what database they are using and what version of the database. So we'll create our query like this. So there are database function and version function. So default function actually. So it will give you the database name and the version name. So how we can do it? Let's just try to print here in third column database this function, and let's say here we'll try to print the version name. Okay, so probably so in this third column we will get the database name, and in the fifth column we will be getting the version name. Now let's just copy this and paste it here. See, union select. Okay, so here you can see what database they are using. BWAP is a database name and the version is 5.5.67. So this is the version. Okay. Now let's just get the some information about the database. Before that, let me just walk you through uh, word table. Okay. So how the values are getting stored in the database? Let's say it is ID, F name, L name, mobile. Okay. So ID is 1, Mohit. Uh, okay, Mohit. Uh, Last name.
Gupta.
Oh, Gupta. Okay.
Gupta.
Okay. Phone number is something like that. Okay. But it should be the 10 values. So this is the your database schema: ID, free, F name, L name, and mobile number, right? With respect to this schema, that is how you have designed your database, and data is getting stored in these schema, right? So whatever the values you are putting it is getting stored. So every values is basically schema is something the identity of the particular values, right? So now we'll just go here and we'll try to get some values from the database. For that, just okay, let it. We need to replace here table table underscore name. Okay, and then let's say in the version place we'll just no, just a version. It's 4, 5, and then we'll put it like here from information underscore schema schema dot tables tables. I think it should be good. Spider-Man in is selected 1, 2, third table underscore name 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now
Give a
just
space after table.
sorry.
Space after space after tables, and then hyphen you have mentioned tables. It's with hyphen, this tables hyphen star. So between space in between this one. Yeah.
Here you are saying after
Yeah.
table.
Yeah.
No, no, it's not needed. Let me just run it. If we'll get error, then we'll modify it accordingly. Ah, it runs. So here you can see that it's giving you the table names. These are the tables names. Okay, character set, collections, column privilege, right? Engines, events, files. So we get this. Okay. So now what we'll do, we'll just try to get the column name, right, with respect to some values. So now let me just again just need to modify it. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now we'll be using group concat function here. Just group underscore concat score column name. Yeah, give me a minute, guys. Okay. Now the group concat, then we'll be using column column underscore name 64567 from information underscore ts columns column columns where table table underscore name name equal to movies. Okay, movies. One, two, column, group concat, column name, 4567 from, let's see, I hope it will run. The problem here is if it is not getting executed, you will not be able to rectify it at what statement or what point your query is wrong. It will just give you the very in general errors, something like that, sequels. So let's. Hmm. So here you can see that what is the values the movies table is having ID release, ID title release underscore genre main character IMDb ticket stocks, right? So these are the column names we get it. Now if we want to get the some few particular values like title, release year and the IMDb rating. So how we can do it? Then we have to again use the group concat. In the group concat, we need to change our desired value, what we want to print it. So let's say title title we want to print release underscore YAR and it's let's say IMDb rating, right? From movies because we know what the table name are, so we'll just remove it till now and let's just movie. Hmm. So we got it. So this is the movie's name. Let's say Amazing Spider-Man is the movie name. When it is released on 2012, right? And its rating, IMDb rating, it's something that it's a hashed or encoded values. Similarly, The Cabin in the Woods, it released in 2011 and the its IMDb rating, it's this one. So that is how we can or attacker can interact with the database if they are having this SQL error syntax something, right? So what I'll do, I'll just paste those all the queries so you guys can just save it and you can use it. That that will help you to understand how you can prepare the SQL statement.
Or can you add in the document itself?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. Okay. So the same query, same command we'll use for other SQL injections. Now let's just do some is stored SQL in. Yeah.
Arman,
Yes.
just can you just recap, quickly what we did actually,
Okay.
so that will be better
Yeah. Sure, no
correlate,
problem.
what kind of information, I mean, was a step one, step two, then what we try to actually extract.
Okay. So let me. So first step is what we did. we basically put any values which we suppose that the database should have in this in the database. So hmm, we have put like movies name, let's say Spider-Man. Okay. So
Yep.
we have search. So it says that the values is not there. So we started to get the next step is we need to check whether the application is vulnerable with SQL injection or not. So we'll be putting any malicious character, single quotes, and here we get to know that SQL injection is there, right? So if the SQL injection is there, then next step is we try to know or we try to get how many columns are there. So for that we have used the order by command, right here only. That is what we have created. So once you get to know about the order by commands and how many columns are there, let me yeah, let me just this is the query. So Spider-Man, then you will try to get to know about the column numbers. How many numbers, right? Once you get these are the column numbers are there, like 7 columns are there, and then we use the union select command, operator, so which help us to get multiple select queries results in a single uh, command, right? So but the condition is the data type should be the same. So once we type these things, so we can, with the help of this, we can print the database and its version name, right? We have seen that bwap is a database name,
Hmm.
and the
Yep.
version name also we get it. Now we want to know about the table name from the information schema.tables. So every table is getting stored in the information schema.tables, right? So let's
Hmm.
say we have created one tables, right? So this table is getting stored default under the information underscore schema.tables. So let's say you have created a different table, another table is, right? So both the table will be getting stored in the information schema.tables, right? So
Right.
from here we will see we have seen that what are the columns names
So,
are there.
so,
Sorry, table names.
so number five we have replaced with the table name now,
Table name, yes.
because in the, uh, but why is it so?
You see, you can put it in 3 column. There is not an issue. It's your,
Okay.
I mean, so here is written in the 5, but I have written in the third column, if you have
Okay.
seen,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Okay.
So those table name we can see in the 5th column. Let's say
Hmm.
if you get the table name, then you want to see what are the values of that tables. In that case, we use the group concat function, uh, column name, from where information underscore schema dot table dot columns, where the table name is movies, because the values are getting stored in the movies database. So in the movies database, how many the column names are there of this table name.
So
So we
now,
have,
so from in the earlier step, we got the uh,
let
all
me
the names of the tables, and in the next one, we selected one table which is called movies, and
right,
from there we are trying to get
to
the
get the name,
columns
columns
of
names.
in that table. Okay.
Yes. So let's say let's say we have got this, it's in this column, in this we have ID, movies name, release year, or box
Hmm.
office ticket, or IMDb. So let's say
Right.
whatever the values you want to print it, you can mention it in the group concat functions. Under this column, we want to get these column values. So it will give you the uh, movies title, release years, and IMDb rating,
Hmm. Okay.
right? So
Yep. Good.
just put it here. Uh, uh, SQL injection, get, post, search query. But I believe I have put it in the document also. Let me just confirm it. Yeah, this is there. It is there only in the document.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so now let's just move here and stored. Okay, so stored is a second order vulnerability. So values is getting stored here in the database, and every time whenever you load the page, you will see the results of your query. So same thing will apply over here. Let's say let's just try. Oh, first thing is we need to know whether it is vulnerable with this SQL injection or not. Put single character, and you can see we are getting this same syntax error. So this is a very initial steps if you want to check. Let's say probably they have the whitelisted this character, then you can try with this character. If both are there, then probably then you can check with the forward slash and backward slash. So if it is getting these values, then you can say the SQL injection is there. But it is not applicable. Let's say if you have the blind SQL injections, then any of these character you will put it, you will not get any response. That will go through it later on. So now let's just run cyber single quotes add entry. Okay. So let's just, if you want to, so we get to know that SQL injection is there. So let's say if we want to check the database name, okay, cyber single colon comma uh, select version one bracket close and rest of the comment. If we want to treat the database, treat rest of the comment as a statement, we'll put this or this only. Both the things will work. In the previous exercise, we have used the double slash, sorry, hash, and now here I'm using these things. Let's say the entry was added to our blog, and it will probably, yes, it is reflecting the version of the database, right? And our entry, the comment, whatever you have mentioned, you can see it right here, right? So now let's just get the database name also. So we'll use the same command, cyber single quotes this, and then select database, and it is also getting stored here. So bwap, right? So now let's just try to we get to know about the database and its version name, right? So we'll use again the table underscore name from table information schema just to get to know about uh, the content of the tables and their user list, right? So for that, see, we're just using the same command what we have used or the functions. Let's just select table table underscore name from information underscore schema CHEMA dot tables tables just Put the hash. Okay, cyber select table name from information underscore schema dot tables. Let's just copy. Let me hit enter. Okay, so there is some error. Select information yes, ideally it should run. Okay. Let me just put it concat ID login password. From users now. Users MIT limit 1,1. Okay, let me see these queries. So, yeah, I'm using the same things. Why it is not running? So basically, with this command, we'll get to know why it is not running. Cyber select table name, information schema, subqueries. Okay. Okay, I think, yeah, because we have to put some limits over here. That is why it is giving the subquery returns more than one row. That is why we are not getting any response. So let's say we just use this concat statement and we get to know about the login ID and password from the user. And here we are putting the limit. Why we are putting the limit? Because in the database, the indexion is start from the zero. So let's say from Mohit, the value ideally with respect to the database indexing is start with the zero. Now in the next, if I add my values or Nandan values, so it will go zero and then one, right? So just put here is 0, 0. Yeah, so it is successfully added. So we can see the a.i.m is the username, right? And the password is getting hashed. So this is the password values we are getting, and it is in the hash. Now let's say if you want to get to know about the second username, what is there.
Mm-hmm.
So we can put it like earlier it was a 0, so it gives us a first values. Now the 1 is associated with the second values. So now we can see that second values is with for the B users, right? And the password is hashed for this. So are you guys are getting it? Let me just add one more column over here. Uh, yeah, okay. So in the database, the indexing will be start from 0, then your values, and here it's 1, it's 2, right? So in the 0 indexing, we have this user a dot I dot m and its password, with which was the hashed password. We can see it on the screen, right? Now in the
Okay.
0, in the sorry, the first user is AIM, second user would be B, and its
Mm.
password is hashed, right? And if I just change the values to here, we'll get the other users values also. It just do it here. Let's just change this to 2. It is also getting stored. Okay, so there is no values. So there are only 2 users, it seems. But the indexing, so whatever the values you are getting, it's with the database indexing is with the 0, 1, 2, and 3, and so on, right? Now let's just run the other labs. So you guys are getting it right. Now we'll have this boolean boolean base. So this is the where we are not getting any response. Let's say if I put Iron Man, the movie does not exist. So here you are not getting any syntax or anything related to your SQL, right? If I just put Spider-Man and this character, so it will also not incorrect syntax, right? So in this page, you're not able to get whether your application is vulnerable to SQL injection or not. That is the big challenge. That is why it is difficult to break whether your application is vulnerable with the SQL injection or not, because it's running on only on a true and false statement, right? So how we can prepare, or we just get to know how our query will be executing in the blind SQL injections. So we have seen like select star from table name, right? Where login equal to B. Okay. And if and after putting this single quotes, so it is basically breaking down our query, and we are putting like or statement 1 equal to 1, and rest of the query will be treated as a statement, and password equal to bug, right? So that is how our query will be look like. But because of this single query character, the query will be break down, and it will just check here 1 equal to 1, which is always a true. And because of this hash or double slash double hash function, the rest of the query will not be executed, right? So
Mm.
in that case, let's just use this parameter till now here, single quotes or 1 equal to 1 hash, which is always a true. Let's see if we are getting any uh, values or not. Okay. So let's just say we'll just use any values, anything. Cyber single quotes space, or yeah, this is the one, I think so. Let's just use it. This movies exists in our database, but you're not getting anything, right? So it means 1 equal to 1 is always a true. That is why it is getting executed, and it is giving you the message like movies is in our database. So here in second order injection, blind or Boolean, you can see that we are not getting any values here, right? So
Yeah.
it will just give you the complete blank page. So let's say we will use the sleep function just to sleep the database for some
So,
certain of time.
so in this case, it is either just going to say whether this movie exists in the database or not. That's all.
Exactly, exactly.
So
I
it's a
mean,
yes or true or false,
false. Yes,
Boolean
yes, yes. So
based.
let's say if I just type here cyber, yeah, these pre values. So it will give you the movie does not exist in the database because 1 equal to 2 is always a false,
Mm.
right? Now let's just make the database to sleep for a second. So here we this query.
So we
So
can't
what it
see your screen.
does, yeah.
Your
So what
screen
it
is not moving.
movies is sorry, not moving.
I can't see your screen. I mean anything. Um, but your cursor is moving.
Okay. Is it for everyone? Let me
No,
just
we are able to see it.
okay, let me
No, no,
just reshare.
screen we can see, but the query, right, which you have run. So that page, I can't see that actually. I mean, it seems like it's like a hung or something
No,
at
Okay.
a particular
it's
point.
again, it's visible. It's visible.
Now
Yes.
what you can see, Mohit, can you confirm?
I can see that in the search bar you have just mentioned CY. That's all.
Now it's showing cyber
Ah,
or 1 equals to 1 and sleep 1 hash.
Mm, don't know. Oh, probably let me join again then.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll not run this query. You can just rejoin
One
again.
second, yeah. Let me rejoin again. Okay, so now I can see your screen.
Okay.
I mean, updated one.
Okay. So cyber single this statement is basically this is the function sleep function which
Mm-hmm.
helps to sleep the database because it is something that will create some disturbance, and you will be getting a not immediate response. It will be take some time, like whatever the values you are putting it here, let's say for 1 second or 3 second, because
Right.
it's working in the millisecond, right?
Mm.
So let's just run because our statement is true, 1 equal to 2, and we are using this function. So let's just, so you can see that it is taking time. We are not getting it, page is
Mm.
loading, but it's taking some time. There is some disturbance that we have created, and we are just getting a delayed, creating it some delayed, getting the response from the database. So that
Right.
is the only case, use cases or example of the when we talk about the second order SQL injections. It run only.
Arman,
Yes.
So we once we put the sleep, so this would be only for us for or for everyone which is going to use the database or trying to run the query or fetch any information at the time when we run it.
Yes,
It would be
exactly.
say it would sleep will affect all the queries coming to the database or just
No,
for
no,
us.
no, no, just for you only.
Okay.
No,
So
no,
what's the
sorry, sorry,
main
sorry,
reason?
sorry, sorry. My bad, my bad. Not for you only. Because let's say
Hmm.
you are an attacker and if you just run this query, right, you have compromised the database. And if you run this query, so basically the database response will be getting delayed if it is
For
getting
everyone.
successful.
For
Yes.
everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we are putting 300 milliseconds, so 300 milliseconds database will not going to respond
Y-
anyone.
Yeah, it is going to be unavailable because
Right.
it went
Okay.
on the sleep mode,
Okay. Okay. Fine.
right? So now let's just say if you have a login form, so you can see that we have this B and bug and superhero credential. Now let's just say admin password, let's say admin says that invalid credential. Again, this query will be running as a same structure, B bug, right? So we'll just use this thing and we'll try to get the bypass it, right? So now let's just go here, just type single code or 1 = 1 and then hash. Let's say it is working or not. So you can see welcome Neo, how are you? Your secret why didn't? So with this parameter, we have bypass it. So single this one or statement 1 = 1, which is always a true, and the hash function. So we have seen that in the login control, login page, sorry, login user, input field is a vulnerable with this vulnerability. Now let's just try the same thing with the
Sorry,
password.
what you did
Yeah.
earlier, I think Mr. Screen was again hung. I don't know why. Yeah, it's
Oh,
happening, but
okay. So here is basically what we are trying to. Are you able to see my command? What I'm putting it here? Single quotes
yes,
or
now
one
I,
equal to one hash.
yes,
Okay.
in the
So
login, yeah.
okay. So how it works in the same way what we have just discussed.
Hmm.
So single quotes or 1 = 1, which is always a true. So it is a mechanism or method, or you can say SQL syntax, that you can bypass the authentication mechanism, because which is always a true, right? So it will give you the first user.
First user.
Yeah, because 1 = 1 is always a true, right? So
Hmm.
whatever the higher roles they have put in over here, let's say because mostly if in the database they have the higher user like admin, and admin values it's setting as a 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or let's say Mohit is an admin, so probably Mohit is admin. So because if I put 1 = 1, so Mohit is admin, so I'll be getting the first value of the users, right?
Okay.
So that is how it is always a true, and it can bypass the authentication mechanism from the database because we are not putting any password over here.
Mm-hmm.
We are just putting 1 = 1 and hash. So it will take you in the login page, that you can see that you have welcome Neo and how are you today. So let's say we just need to, I'll just putting this query here in the password because we know that the login control is a vulnerable with SQL injection. Now let's just
Mm.
try here in the password. I'm providing the same string.
Okay.
It is also getting executable. Why? Because of this statement, 1 equal to 1. So let's just change this. Let's just change it to 1 equal to 2. Let's see. Because it's a
Mhm.
false, I don't think so that we'll be getting any values here. See, invalid credential, because it's a false statement,
Okay.
right? So now let's just use SQL map tools, which is there in your Kali Linux.
Man, just 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
This 1 equals to 1. See, we are in the statement, we are
Mm-hmm.
giving username or 1
Password.
equals to 1, right?
Hmm.
You login equals to B or 1 equals to 1. It means either the user ID name is B or equals to true, right? So what it means true or
No, 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 no. So basically, I did not put B over here. I just put this single quotes or a statement 1 equal to 1. I did not put B over there.
okay, 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 fine. So 1 equals to 1 equals to true. So what it is trying to say? 1 equals to 1 equals to true.
It is
So
basically, let's just, so ID is 1, okay, and username is B, and password is bug, okay. So when,
it should start with the 0, right? 0,
sorry,
1.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I my bad. Let's say because we are putting here 1 equal to 1, so whatever the
Right.
values are there in 1, it will give you.
Mhm.
Because
Okay.
0 equal to 1 is not true, right?
Okay.
So it will always give you the value whatever they store here in 1 equal to 1. It is always a true.
Okay.
So database basically, every database is working on the true and false statement. When the, let's say you are putting the select user, select star from user, where let's say, uh, so where command username equal to Mohit, right? And last name is Gupta. Okay. So when this condition is meeting, then only
Right.
Mohit able to log in the system.
Right.
So
Right.
true means what you understand? True means is 1 equal to 1, right? Which is always a true,
Right. Right.
right? So if the Mohit name is username is Mohit, and the second name, let's say if you put Pandey,
Mhm.
right? So it will not allow Mohit to get in the application because Mohit is the first name is matching, but the last name is not matching.
Mhm.
So that is something 1 equal to 2 because it's not
Right.
matching,
Got it. Got it.
right? So someone is interested in learning SQL injection, but so he or she is feeling very boring session. What this guy is trying to teach. Okay, so now let's run the our SQL map. So SQL map will be performing our SQL map on this test on this application, Vulnerable Hub. Okay, so now let's just go here and sorry, yeah, SQL map. So I have written some syntax. I'll just take from there because we have less time. But we'll just understand about this SQL map. So SQL map is basically help you to check whether your application is vulnerable through SQL injection or not. And here is something that you can automate all these things. So this is not something that you need to manually provide all these queries. So here, let's say you can see when using this batch hyphen slash batch. So with this command, you don't need to answer anything. Will do it. Okay. So let's just say, so if you want to test a URL, your syntax would be SQL map -u followed by your URL. Yeah, okay. And it will also check for all these type of SQL injections in your URL. It will check for the second order, first order, union base, boolean base, error base, everything. It will be checking it. Okay. So now let's just copy it here. Just give me a minute, guys. Okay, so followed by -u with your URL, it will basically scan. Okay, so now let's just copy, and crawl is basically it's allow the tools to automatically uh crawl every pages, right? So let's say let me just give you the example. Let's say you have EdYoda.com page / with login. Okay. So if you use crawl 2 or crawl 1, crawl 3, maximum you can go for a crawl 5. Okay. So let's say if you just type 2 and what we say, registration page, fees, fee page, course. Okay. So if you are typing crawl 2, crawl 2, so it means it will get till here, right? If you mention crawl 3, it will go till now, registration. And if you crawl 4 followed by 5, right? So that is how your crawling work, right? So now let's just use this command for test php and okay. So initially I'm just removing this batch. Okay. So what it does, it basically asking you for every actions, right? And whatever the values you can see here in the caps, it's a default options, right? So if I just put no, then again it will ask some questions, right? Please enter the number of the thread, enter 1 or 2. So let's say if you don't want to, if you want to complete automate this attack, so you can just use the batch. If I just put the batch, you don't need to anything. It will automate and it will check for everything.
So instead of us checking it manually, each of those
Options will be taken
payloads,
care by the tools itself.
yeah, okay.
So you can see it is executing the same values, right? And it will take one thread, and every answer will be by the tool itself. You don't need to do anything. So do you want to test this URL? Default is says the options yes. Okay. So now let's say, so it is giving you The detail about the backend database is MySQL, its version name, right? PHP 5, backend database is 5.6 or something, right? And if you go here, the SQL injection has been already been detected against this page. Do you want to skip? So it says yes. So it's skipping it. If you go a bit up, you can see that some other details also. So it's run you can see the Boolean based blind attack. It's run the error based SQL injections. After running the error based injection, it's get to know about the database name and its version name. It's also run the time base union queries also it's run, right? So everything will be taken care by the tool itself. You don't need to run it. And if you are getting those things, then it means that you have this SQL injection vulnerability in your application in the URL.
So this tool is just providing us the information whether
SQL injection.
the vulnerability exists or not.
Correct.
Okay.
So let's say if you want to, now you get to know that the application is vulnerable with the database, with the SQL injection vulnerability. Now let's say if you want to get the database name, right? So you just need to run this command followed by the hash batch. Just copy hyphen dbs. So it will get you the database detail. Now just run it. So okay, so the database detail we already know, right? Sorry, I have run the wrong command. Just it is sorry. Available databases, you can see these are the two database, AccuArt and the information schema. So these are the two database. Now let's say you get the database name, and if you want to dump the all the table values of the users, right? So now just copy and I'll just put it here. Oh, I did not put these things. So you want to store the hash values? Okay, no. Database attack, yes. Mm. Yes. So here you can see that we get some details in the table. The CC phone number, username, address. Some values are hashed, and you can see that the email address is Heather Zaidi 0008 at gmail.com, right? Password is test, right? So these values you can see that it's automated, and from the users table, from where users table we have seen, because in our command we have used this user command, and there is a one user only. That is what it is giving you the detail is, if you can see only one entry, it's find in the user table. Now let's just, if you want to dump all the data, whatever the data is there, you want to dump all. Batch. So it will dump all the things. it started dumping all the data. So you can see one table is product. So it's giving you the product values, entries, their price, descriptions, right? It's a feature table. Database is accurate. There is no values. So it's giving you this like this table. Now these are the also the table, but the values are not there. So here you can see there are 3 entries in the artist table: artist's name, artist ID. So this is some values. We can see it right here. Now let's just say guest book is the entry. Catalog values, catalog table is also, we can say that it's dumped completely. So that is how you can use this application SQL map to perform the SQL injections vulnerabilities. Let's assume, guys, I mean, if you have to if you have to perform these activities through manually, you will not be able to perform it because it is a very time taking, right? But with the help of this tool SQL map, it's automate the scan, it's automate the attack, and you are able to get all these results. So I'll be putting it all these commands I have used here, so you guys can use it.
Okay.
Right. So any doubt, any questions?
Only one query. So
Uh-huh.
whatever you did in the UI, right? So same thing you're replicate using the SQL map.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
But here it's something you may not be able to understand because if you want to just, because the tool itself is checking all these methods like boolean, error base, but the syntax is something different, right? Because you can see this error base in the backend, what queries it is running, you will not see it you will just getting the outcome,
Okay.
right? So here you can see it is checking the error base, but what payload it's used, you can see cat equal to 1 gid subnet concat command, right? We have used these things, but the attack payload looks like a very different, right? Not the same what I have used, right? For error base, it use the where having order by group by clause gtid subset, right? So here it's also used the sleep command, you can see, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that is your SQL injections. And other topic is we have the Wi-Fi security. Let me. So the prevention about this SQL injection is you should have the make sure the validation in place and parameterized query is in used. It is something that you are taking the values from the users or any external controls. The value should be validate before it proceed by the database. So the application code should never use the input directly, as well as uh, if any logs, I mean, if any errors are there, the error should be the customized error. You shouldn't reveal those values in a SQL syntax so that the attacker are able to, guess, and now they can their further attacks, right? So wireless network and wireless security is just a fundamental because it needs some additional devices to perform the pen test of the Wi-Fi. So in these exams, CEH or CC, whatever the exams you are going to be appear in it, it is just you will get some fundamentals concept. What are the encryption protocol? What are the authentications we have in place when we talk about the wireless security, right? So it's a wireless security. It just protects you from the Wi-Fi networks from unauthorized access. an attack on the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So let's say you guys are using any office network as a guest, because there are the two ways you guys must have experienced it. So let's say you have your own mobile phone, whether if it is not your official mobile, that is something you can purchase from the office portal, your organization portal, then whatever the device you are getting it, it is automatically authorized, right? But let's say you are using your office mobile, but you don't want to log in with your official your mail ID and password. You want to log in as a guest, right? So in the guest, so they are basically giving you the 6-digit code or 5-digit code, whatever the uh, parameters or rules they have set it. So you will be getting some code, and once you are entering it, it will allow you, or it can give you the access to use the office Wi-Fi, like for 8 hours, 10 hours, or sometimes 2 days or 3 days also. Let's say in my organization, when I log in mobile as a guest, so I'm getting some code, and I can use that code, or once you use that code, your session will be alive for 3 days. So I can use uh, I can log in as a guest and use the company Wi-Fi for the 3 days as a guest user. But it doesn't mean your traffic is not being monitored. So basically, in the Wi-Fi, basically they are preparing a different tunnel actually. So one is for your authorized devices, one is for your authorized user, one is for your guest user, and so on. So let's say being a login as a guest, if I use, or if I try to transfer any files from my office account to my personal Gmail ID with the help of Office Outlook, so that is also being monitored, and it is not something that you can escape, or you can save yourself. So that is how they actually implement those things and put the security controls in it, because every devices should be the authorized. Unauthorized devices and unauthorized users are not able to access the of office Wi-Fi. So the encryption is, this is, you when you guys must have seen that WPA3, it is the latest Wi-Fi encryption standard, offers stronger encryption and better protection against the brute force attack. So WPA2, it's just one level down, and it's not used very much as of now. It's just a previous standard. And WEP is a very vulnerable and the older encryption method that is not in use anywhere. So it is just a fundamental things, guys, about the authentication. What is SSID? So I'll be putting it this document. So please go through it, because there is no such labs, or it's just a conceptual things. And if you have any difficulties or any things that you are not able to understand it, we can discuss it tomorrow. So my motto, because SQL injection is a very, known vulnerabilities. So that is why I have taken such time here. Uh, Let me just put all these query here right now. SQL map. So it's now I take a pause. Any questions, any query, you please ask. SQL map.
Put that SQL one which you initially we are using.
Yeah. I'm putting it. SQL map command. And those queries I have already attached here for the BWAP. And let's say if you want to, I just yeah, time-based delay, this one, but it's from movies. Single course hyphen hyphen plus Boolean based time delay in response. Okay. Okay, so I'll be putting in this document. Please go through it and do some hands-on and let me know if you face any difficulties. There are other links also. I have put it over here. So, any question, guys? We have 1 minute left.
I
What
think
are
we have to do some hands-on and
Mm-hmm.
check.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
is the
yeah.
topic for tomorrow?
Tomorrow we have hacking mobile and IoT.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll try because in Kali Linux, I think there is no particular tools we have. There is some additional tools and some additional setups required to perform
Mm-hmm.
the hacking the mobile and IoT. And
Okay.
if we talk about CEH exam or any CompTIA exam, so you will not be getting any particular labs things where you will have to access or hack the mobile or IoT devices because this is something very additional and there is no such infrastructure you will be getting through EC Council as well. So we'll
Mm-hmm.
go through it, this infrastructure, sorry, the architecture of IoT and mobile devices. But
Okay.
there are some other online portals. If I think if I'll get some labs there, we'll go through it. But if not, then we have to stick with the fundamental concept because that is for the course as per the course curriculum.
Okay. Okay.
Right. And then we have the last session after that. This is cloud computing and cryptography. So cryptography, there is some labs, some tools. We have free tools, resources through which we can check about the cryptography related vulnerabilities.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, guys. So
For this
it's
last session, right? This
mhm,
cryptography. You know, I mean, regarding these certificates things, right?
mhm,
Mm,
mhm.
I mean, especially if I talk about myself, you need a very
Deep
layman and
information.
deep information on that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
session.
We'll
Yeah,
have it. We'll have it because
because we need to nail it through, like, if anyone is asking anything, because when we talk about this web applications, for example,
mhm,
anyway, certificates are not only used for web applications. So we have some, third party certificates, and then we have some internal self-signed certificates and
yes,
all that, so we need to, like, what to use when, and then we have these wildcard certificates and different uh, so those all, I hope that will be covered in that session, right?
yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll cover those things.
Yep. Okay, good.
Okay, guys, enjoy your weekend, and we'll meet tomorrow.
Okay,
Yep.
thanks,
Okay.
Arba.
Okay, thank
Thank
you,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
thank you.
everyone.
Bye,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.